The presenting sponsor of Moon Tower Soccer is FVF Law.
To find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm, you can visit fvf.law.
Hello friends, thanks for listening to Moon Tower Soccer. This week we'll discuss open training. We'll talk about Austin FC's outlook for the rest of the season, and we will preview Austin's return to MLS play. My name is Landon and I'm joined not by Jeremiah, but by our good friend Mike Cragnola. Mike, good to see you, man.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike Cragnola. It's so nice to be here, Landon. I promise not to say anything that results in rage bait comments on Instagram this week. Where are you?
I am currently in the high plains of Mexico, in a city called San Luis Potosí.
Cool.
It has been interesting so far. It is we've not seen any tourists here, or any obvious tourists. And I think we've maybe crossed 3 total people who might have been Americans, or at least obviously American. Maybe there's others walking amongst us who are not as obvious, but everyone else that we've run into seems to be locals here, which has been kind of fun. And
because it's the off season there, right?
Yeah, I don't think they get a ton of tourism here in the city necessarily anyway.
The reason I know about San Luis Potosí is for rock climbing.
Interesting.
And it's very popular through the fall and winter.
So we're going out to kind of the big nature area that is near here and in this region later this week. I imagine that will be more active, but here in the city, it's been fairly quiet. And one little touch of home that we did do, partially because we needed groceries and partially because we thought it would be just kind of fun to do this, is we went to the H-E-B here. They have 2 big, new, fancy H-E-Bs here in the city. And so we went there to get our groceries just because we thought it would be interesting to see what H-E-B is like in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it is pretty much exactly like what it is in Texas. So not a ton of surprises, but it was kind of fun to see everything in Spanish, to see some of the bakery choices, a lot more of what you would see in a Mexican bakery as opposed to the ones in the States. And then one thing that was really surprising, though, is they did not sell fresh tortillas there.
Huh. Is it, do you think it's because, why would you buy them at the grocery store?
They had packaged tortillas there and several options, including H-E-B branded factory tortillas. But at H-E-B in Central Market, you can get the fresh made ones that are made there on site. And they did not have that available, which I thought was interesting.
Wow. Como se dice H-E Buddy spin and win?
I did not see H-E Buddy. So
not even once?
I maybe wasn't looking, but I didn't see
H-E
the mascot.
Amigo?
One really nice thing we did the other night was we went to this plaza near our Airbnb on Sunday night. There's all these stalls selling food and people selling art and stuff like that. And then there was a part of the plaza that was set up as a dance floor, and all of these senior citizens were doing Cuban danzón dancing with just recorded tracks. And then there was a homebrew drag show going on in one part of the thing. And there's just hundreds of people out there just spending time with their family, enjoying their community and eating, walking around, listening to music, watching people dance. And I thought that was so cool just because there's not a lot of that kind of thing in most places in the United States.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool for that reason. And I was thinking, what do we have that is that kind of community in the States? And it got me feeling grateful for our soccer community, just because that is one of the places where it's okay, there's going to be a bunch of people there. I'll know some of them. I won't know some of them, but we're all there for kind of the same thing, enjoying being around people, creating community. And it's not exactly the same, but I feel the way that kind of society in the States is built around those kinds of things, you have to choose it and you have to create it for yourself. And I feel this is one of the ways that we're doing it. And so very grateful for that.
I like that. That's a nice segue into the reality that MLS is back, baby. That's what we're going to talk about this week, right?
That's right. So Austin FC returns to MLS play after, is it like 2 months off? Maybe more than that. I stopped counting.
Yeah.
We'll have Seattle coming up this Wednesday, and then Houston away on Saturday. And then after that, we'll have Colorado away, and then we're into Leagues Cup. So lots coming up over the next couple of weeks. We'll do some previews later on in the show about the 2 upcoming games. Austin FC just completed a round of friendlies. We got some news about the first 2. Did we see ever any like information come out about this Charlotte friendly?
I have seen nothing, and that's crazy. That feels wild to not have heard anything.
Yeah, because the first 2 did not have any official information put out anyway, but like We Are Austin TV and some other people were reporting stuff from sources that they had. And so it's interesting that this one was maybe put on like extra lockdown, and they told everyone like, hey, we don't want anything getting out about this one, which was, I don't know, that's interesting to me.
Maybe Charlotte FC also was unhappy with how it went, because I don't think they've posted anything about it either. Have you seen anything from their side?
No, I figured it would have leaked into the Austin FC world if that had happened too.
Right.
So who knows? Davy Arnaud said in media availability today, that we're talking on Monday, that they went well, that he was happy with them. I imagine he's going to say that regardless, so we'll take him at his word for this one. Another thing that went on this week was the Austin FC Open training. So this was kind of a repeat of a thing they did. Was it preseason last year, or was that just this year? Okay, preseason last year. And so that was in the winter, of course. This one ended up being after this awkward World Cup break. It started at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, I think. So neither of us got to go. Both of us were out of town. And so we're relying on friends and colleagues of the Austin FC media for reporting on how it went. But what did we learn from those folks? What did people get to see at this one?
Yeah, one of the things that like I wanted to see going there was definitely a first look at Przemysław Pacheta. And so did we get any engagement from our social post asking for folks' impressions?
Yeah, we did. Mostly pretty positive. I think folks liked it when people were mentioning that they liked having an event like that where it's not so crowded and you can get some player interaction. I saw some other people talking about how that they preferred this event over the like Meet the Team event. I know you and Steph have done the Meet the Team thing most or all years that they've done it. Would you rather them do an open training where players can kind of walk around and sign autographs, or would you rather them have those stations like they've done at the Meet the Team events?
I think it depends. Because I wasn't there, I can't like say how it went, right? But like if the players are willing to make a full lap around the field, I think that's awesome.
It seemed like most of them were doing that.
Yeah. And so I think that's great. And I think they're probably more comfortable because they are in a space where they're used to interacting with fans. I think from the fan perspective, it's a lot easier for them to like not have to have something to say to every player as they come through, right? For Steph and I, right, we enjoy that moment. We get to ask a couple of questions that we want to know.
Well, and you have them pinned down as well.
It's like version. It's like a micro Swoon Tower interview, you know? And so from that side of it, we really like those. But we also live in that convention world as well, right? Where we run panels for minor celebrities or major celebrities kind of across TV and media. And so like, that engagement style is really natural for us, and it can be really intimidating for other people. And so I get where folks would be like, actually, this was better from both sides of that interaction space, right?
Yeah, I can see there being value in both sides, but I think you're right that probably for some of the players, it's much more comfortable for them to be able to walk around and sign stuff for people in the stands as opposed to being trapped at a table and having very awkward interactions over and over and over.
Yeah, I bet it feels like you are a zoo exhibit or something, you know?
So these training sessions, same for this one, and as for like the open ones for media, where they'll let folks in to watch 15 minutes or sometimes longer than that. They're not going to show you much of substance. Like, you're not going to come away
with an understanding of the tactical plan against Seattle.
Right. The last open training thing I went to for media, it was, I think, probably exactly what folks saw on Saturday, which is small-sided scrimmages. No like full team tactical stuff at all. Nothing that could be scouted or used to extrapolate any other information from. But I think we still got some folks talking about what they saw, what they liked. You mentioned Przemysław Pacheta getting out there on the field. I had heard secondhand from folks who had seen it in person that we've heard this guy's fast, that was kind of confirmed. Like, he is extremely fast, and I'm not sure how much you're going to get to see that in like 7-a-side or 5-a-side, whatever they're playing. But it seems like he is as fast as advertised, so that's good to see.
I heard he might be faster than advertised, like Bukhari level speed is what. So that would be really exciting.
Heard several people talk about Owen having a few fun moments. The North End podcast boys specifically mentioned his body language and how before the break, Owen didn't really look very happy to be anywhere, including on the field. And that was not the case in this training on Saturday. That he looked like he was enjoying his game. He was smiling, having fun with his teammates. So that's positive to see. I saw a few people talk about how Sabovic looked pretty lively and like had some good moments. So I wrote in my notes, people said Sabovic didn't look like a corpse.
Yeah, I thought that was a direct quote from someone.
No,
knowing
that's
your knowing that's your interpretation makes a lot more sense now.
So who knows? I'm still skeptical, but it's better than nothing. And then I think something else that was noteworthy is a lot of these first team guys who spend most of their time with the second team, they were all involved in this, but also at least one, if not more, second team guys who are not on the first team were there, mainly speaking of Jorge Alastue. So the Verde All Day boys, especially Moises, but Phil as well, have been banging the drum for Alastue forever about this guy needs to be on the first team. We should use the international roster spot on him. We have one spot coming back from, is it the Galaxy who had the extra one now?
I can't remember who we sold it to.
We sold one of them, two of them for half the season. One of them we resold to St. Louis. RSL. The other one is technically coming back for now, but there's still time to do something with it. You need to do something. Like, if you just let it sit empty, that's a waste. So
yes,
trade it and get some money for it. Or if you don't think they're making moves, like we don't have a sporting director, you don't think you're going to be able to bring anybody in, maybe in that case you do try it out with Alastue. Like, what's your take on that? I'm like, could be more convinced now that it would be worth giving it to him, given that we don't have a sporting director, but the money saves, right? Like, it keeps. So we could still trade it away and keep that money for when we do have a sporting director.
Yeah, the money's still good. And on the other hand, hasn't he been one of the best players in MLS Next Pro this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he's got 9 goals and 2 assists in 13 games started.
He's the best player by far on the best team in MLS Next Pro.
Right. And so, like, if you're not going to give that guy a shot, like, what does that say to the rest of the academy?
Yeah.
And so even from that perspective, it almost feels like, is this a thing that we should do? Is that worth $300,000 to show future academy players there is a pathway by being successful in our second team to the first team?
I would argue, I think the argument there, and one that I would probably make, is that you could do that with Irvin Torres.
Yeah, sure.
And Irvin Torres doesn't need an international roster spot. So.
But he's already got a first team contract, right?
Right. You need to start putting him on the field for what you're saying to be true. So I don't know.
And is Jorge more ready to be on the field today in the senior league than Irvin is?
Yeah, I think the answer is probably yes.
So that might be a $300,000 value.
But you don't play Irvin because he's ready. You play him because he's 18.
He needs to get ready. Yeah.
And Alastue's 23. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be too. I think there was a time where I probably would have been kind of upset that they gave him a first team deal and used that international roster spot. I would no longer be upset, but I still think that maybe the smarter move is to sell it and keep the money if you don't have other plans for it.
Yeah. I have a MLS rules question that I don't know if you will know the answer to.
Okay, put me on the spot.
Are roster slots, like international roster slots, built on the same GAM constraints that like selling players is? For example, we sold Danny for up to 2.3 million in GAM. The most we can convert annually to GAM is $3 million from player sales. Do roster slots
that's for
in that as
that's
well?
for an external league sale. So we just straight up traded Danny, so it's already GAM.
Oh,
so we don't have to convert it. That's already GAM. We can use all of it.
okay.
It's if we had sold him to England, then we would have been capped on how much we could do it. But
got it. I was doing background like napkin math of like, okay, we sold 2 of these for 600 before. And now we sold another one for 300. Like, are we at that 3 million cap anyway?
The answer is no, because none of it would count towards it. But that's another. I'm glad you brought that up though, because I don't think we mentioned it in kind of making our case for the Danny trade being a really, really good business, and that's part of it. Is when you do that trade within MLS, you can use all of that money. None of it goes to the league. None of it goes elsewhere. You're not limited to how you can use it. So
even if we sell another player abroad, we can still convert all of that sale into GAM later.
Mm-hmm. Correct. With limitations, but yes.
Yeah. Up to
and
to
then it's
3
like
million or whatever.
recouping costs and all this other boring stuff that's in the MLS rules. Let's talk about I can't believe I'm saying this, but the injury report. How do we already have an injury report?
It wouldn't be an Austin FC match week without a list of dudes who aren't going to play.
So another thing we learned from open training is John Bell was there and suited up, did not participate in like the scrimmage portion. Brandon Vasquez was there, participated in drills, but did not participate in the scrimmage portion, was going pretty light on the side. Mikael Dessler was not dressed at all, did not participate in anything. Irvin Torres did not participate. I think it was reported that he so I think someone asked today during the media availability with Davy that he got a knock during the Charlotte friendly. We also got the availability report for the Seattle game. And Davy Arnaud said that John Bell and Dessler are out for Wednesday. Everyone else is available. Vasquez was just a minor ankle knock from that friendly, and they just wanted to give him an extra day to recover, but he's 100% ready to go for Wednesday. Heinz Eich is probably not ready to go 90, but he is like fit as far as like injuries go and ready to play, but probably not 90 minutes fit yet. And then said that Dessler is dealing with an Achilles issue. This is a new exciting injury for
to the list.
Mikael Dessler. Mike, I know you've had Achilles stuff, and that stuff ain't no fun. And it's terrible to hear that this guy who has had other nagging long-term injuries to have a new nagging, hopefully not long-term injury.
Yeah, I'm so curious about an Achilles issue, right? Because like that is a big tendon to just sprain or strain. Like, what happened? Is it a partial tear? Is it when did it happen? Like, there's so many questions. Because if it just recently happened and you don't know if it's going to recover or like require surgery or whatever, like, I think that determines a lot of the rest of his time here in Austin.
The way Davy discussed it didn't sound like it was so severe that they're in like this surgery part of the spectrum as far as how bad the injury goes, but it is still like it's a delicate injury that you have to be really careful with, where it can become something really serious. So just so frustrating. This guy who's so good and so important to the team when he's on the field to just never be there. And he's just like, I think we can just expect from this point forward that he's never going to be fit. And that's really, I don't know, it's like sad and frustrating and disappointing.
Yeah, it's one of those where like the profile is perfect. Like the way that he plays is so smart. The talent that he's got is so good, and the best ability is availability, and he ain't got it. And we're looking at this contract doesn't end until the end of December 2027, so like halfway through next season. Man, it's tough.
The best ability is availability. Enter John Gallagher. So he's probably going to be the starting right back for the next little bit. Who knows how long, but same old.
Yep.
All right. I think
the Iron Man.
That's right. We have a few things we're going to discuss in this show. I think the meat of the show this week is going to be kind of looking forward after this break. What can we expect from the rest of the season, and kind of catching people back up from where we left off and where we think we could or might be going for the rest of the season. So we'll discuss that, and we'll also do some previews of this week's game. So hang tight. We'll be right back. When no one is around. Moon Tower Soccer is brought to you by our friends at FVF Law.
FVF is a different kind of personal injury law firm dedicated to community, transparency, and client education. And they have their own podcast called Summary Judgment. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
You can go to FVF.law to find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm and why understanding your legal options can dramatically change the outcome of a case. Once again, that's FVF.law. Amplify Credit Union is a member-owned financial cooperative that served the needs of Central Texans for over 5 decades. As a credit union, Amplify has no shareholders or parent companies. That means more of your money stays in the community.
Hey Landon, did you know Amplify has been the home of fee-free banking since 2022?
I did.
Yeah, their free checking accounts come with 0 overdraft fees or minimum balances. You know what that means? Do you?
Amplify's fee-free checking accounts help you get more mileage from your everyday spending.
That's right. Amplify membership's open to any Texas resident. Learn to trust your bank again at Amplify Credit Union. To learn more and to register for free parking at the Esperanza branch on game day, visit www.goamplify.com/moontower. I just didn't want to say fee-free checking accounts again. I wanted to put that one on you.
You son of a... All right, we are back. We're going to talk about the outlook for the rest of the season for Austin FC. But first, let's do a little transfer update roundup, both incoming and outgoing. There's some interesting stuff going on in that world. So we got Pajeta. We already discussed him a little bit. One thing I did appreciate from today's media availability is Moises did something that I was hoping to do if I was going to get to go to the press conference, which was get Pajeta to confirm or deny his approval of the nicknames that he had in England. And so I appreciate him giving the answers, but the answer is a little bit frustrating because we worked so hard on trying to learn to say his name, Przemysław Pajeta. And he said, Moises asked him, like, do you like the name Shimmy? And he says, actually, I prefer the nickname Placi, which is taking two of the sounds, the two main sounds in his name, and pronouncing him wrong. But he said Pajeta is good. I feel like I'm feeling more and more comfortable with it. I don't know if that's the case for all Austin FC fans, but he says that Placi is approved.
Yep. It is gonna be, I think, because we've been talking about him so long in like group chats and stuff as Shemi, it's gonna, for me, be a work to switch at first. Placi, Pajeta, we'll see, whatever, right?
I don't think I can use Placi because then I'll start saying his real name wrong.
Yeah, when he scores, we're all still gonna have to say Pajeta anyway. So, and we know new players at Austin FC always scoring. So
That's
it's
right.
important. Yeah.
The other one I wanted to discuss is Danny Pereira made his debut in Montreal.
What a Danny game.
We had been joking for weeks, like in person and group chats and on the show maybe even, but it was the most Danny debut where he enters the game in the 60th minute, yellow card in the 64th for a hard challenge.
Yeah, his first interaction in the game is a hard challenge in the middle of the field, just right through somebody, yellow card.
Insane.
And
but
then,
on brand.
And then he is trying to figure out, obviously Montreal's play style is so different from ours. And so he's trying to find the game, but when he's on the ball, he's just so good. The announcers even are like, man, he's really good on the ball.
I mean, I think that's the best way for them to probably use him for the time being is like, yeah, get him integrated. But like whenever I watch him play with Venezuela, it felt like so often they were having him just like sit super deep and like play as a destroyer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let this kid dribble a little bit. Like that's what he's best at. Like,
and Montreal plays super vertical, and so they're always hoofing the ball over him. They're kicking it past the midfield, and it looked so frustrating for a kid trying to find the game. Like obviously, me watching Montreal, I'm watching for Danny.
Yeah.
But like when he gets on the ball, he's still so good. And the announcers were saying the same thing. Like, man, they gotta leverage this because he's so good on it.
They also just paid a bunch of money for him. Like,
yeah.
All right, Robert Taylor. So he was bought out by Austin FC a couple of weeks ago. We've kind of speculated on the show a few times that okay, it's probably that he wasn't fit, like he wasn't going to be healthy enough to be a real role player for the rest of the season. The LA Galaxy picks him up within the last week or so, and he plays for them in their 3-0 loss to LAFC the other day. Played like 25 minutes. So that's not the issue. It was something else, like either fit or consistency in performance or whatever. But the long-term injury did not seem to be the reason why he was bought out.
Nope. Sure doesn't. It is crazy that like his journey with Austin FC was he came in as a move that Roto like stamped on to bring him in, got all these injuries, wasn't able to like stay healthy, and then we buy him out for another guy Roto bought for the exact same position, thinking he's injured, and now he goes and plays in El Tráfico, and like nobody from LA was good in that game.
And they put him on the field after they were down 3-0 too. So
right.
Maybe a bit of a sacrificial lamb there.
I was going to say, but like he wasn't worse than most of the players who like he came on for, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tough moment.
It puts Austin FC and LA Galaxy in this weird situation where I assume, like normally when a player gets bought out, they go on waivers, a team can pick them up. Usually the team who bought them out will continue paying that player's salary until their contract's up. If someone picks them up, then there's like kind of a process to see like, okay, the new team will pay X amount. The old team continues to pay the rest, which is our situation with Christian Ramirez from the LA Galaxy. So yeah. We are paying one of their players. They're paying one of our players.
I wonder if he's going to end up on the supplemental roster for LA Galaxy.
Yeah, it could be depending on how much they picked up, but it's very possible. And it's like a bidding process, right? So it depends on who else wanted him. And maybe that's it. I would not be shocked to see him be on the supplemental roster.
Incredible. MLS, baby. It's back. We'll take it from here, world.
One other thing I wanted to touch on very briefly, because I don't think it deserves that much time, is there was a rumor picked up by Verde Nation and reposted that, how do I phrase this? That it was linking Austin FC to a goalkeeper from Real Oviedo in Spain. I don't remember. Was this one that was like mentioning a few different teams, or am I thinking of a different rumor?
This one mentioned a few teams, but I think only Austin in MLS.
Okay. So I think that's
I can't
always
remember.
like the PSA for transfer rumor literacy. Like if multiple teams are listed, I think that instantly downgrades the trustworthiness of said rumor.
Yeah.
So already multiple teams on there. But also he's like a pretty high level goalkeeper. I think he's like 30 years old.
Yeah, he's 30.
We don't need a goalkeeper. So this isn't the level like, oh, we'll bring him in on supplementals. Like, no, we would pay a lot of money for him and come in and he would be like a pretty highly paid player in MLS. It sounds like nonsense. Since that rumor came out, he's now being linked to Birmingham City in the championship, and the prices being mentioned are like 4 to 5 million euros.
Yeah.
Which
the original
definitely not paying that much for a goalkeeper right now.
No. The original rumor was Birmingham City, Levante, and Austin FC. I cannot imagine this was anything more than Googling MLS teams list and getting an alphabetical list back and being like, oh, no one's going to buy Atlanta United. They are what they are right now, and going to the next one down the list. Like,
yeah, it seems like we have been one of the teams that gets thrown into the made-up list because we have been active in kind of an international market. It wouldn't be surprising to see us get a player from kind of an interesting spot like that. But this very much seems to me that maybe the Birmingham City one was real, maybe another one was real, but agents have been doing this for years now, right? Of like, let's pick an MLS team so we can boost that number up because everyone knows MLS will pay for certain players. Whether it's real or not, you put the pressure on this other team to bring their numbers up a little bit. So I'm almost certain that's what was happening there.
And it's cool that we're the team right now, you know? Getting our team mentioned is nice.
Oh, we were like the go-to team for South American rumors there for like a year
for
and
a
a
little
half.
bit. Popular.
All right, Mike.
Also, though, the space that Real Oviedo fits into is very much along that same line of Granada in Spain. Of like, they're a team that goes between first and second divisions. Yeah. Like, we had just done the Mirtu signing, so like, it feels very like, yeah, this is a believable name. People are going to start paying more money if they know MLS is interested.
For sure. All right, Mike, let's jump into our expectations for the rest of the season. I want to go through a few topics as far as like where we left off, where we're going, what we can expect. So I'll pose a few questions. We can kind of discuss our way through them and see where we land. But let's talk about where we left off before the World Cup break. It was a long time ago. I would not be surprised if a lot of people have forgotten. But we lost 3 in a row to end the first half of the season with a combined 10-1 scoreline. So not great. Within those 3 games, Estevez and Burrell were fired. We ended the first half with 14 total points, which leaves us second to last in the Western Conference, only above Sporting Kansas City, who was barely even a team at the beginning of the season. So not great. Setting the table there. What has changed since then? And let's talk about like, are we net better or worse coming out of this break? So talking about the changes, Curtin is a huge addition, right? But he's not here yet. So there's still no sporting director. Przemysław Pacheta is the only addition coming in, like the only player that we've added. So I think the only argument that we might be better at this point than we were when we finished the first half is that Brandon Vasquez and Owen Wolf are back and healthy. And I think you can make the argument that despite some of the stuff we're about to talk about, which is how we got worse over this break, that maybe those 2 guys can fill enough of that gap to make us be a better team coming out of this break.
Yeah, I think Brandon Vasquez and Owen being back, along with if Davy Arnaud wants to be a head coach in MLS, this is his shot. Like this is the biggest and best chance that he's gotten so far, and the longest run of time to show the rest of the league like this is what I can do as a coach in the league. And so there's got to be an amount of like drive and pressure on him for that next step in his career, if that's something he's after. And so
Yeah, for sure.
like from an opportunity to show your fundamentals of play and to show kind of what matters to you as a coach, as well as like how you might integrate youth into a squad, something that for a lot of MLS teams is really important. We could see some of that in the next 19 games, right? It would be nice to see a head coach who wants to do something like that, but who knows?
Yeah. So let's talk about how we've gotten worse now. And I think it's like big headline, all capital letters, Danny Pereira traded. Like that's a huge blow.
Yeah.
Not much else has happened, right? Like there hasn't been a ton of other changes, but Danny is a big miss. Like he has big shoes to fill, and we have not and maybe will not fill them during this transfer window. So
yeah, I think it depends on what you consider for the first half of the year versus like Austin FC's existence, right? Because Owen could just slide into what Danny was doing in the first half of the year. And then we're playing the same lineups that we had been, but with Owen instead of Danny. And at that point, are we worse? Are we basically the same? We're definitely worse than what we expected with the two of them on the field. But
it was hard to get the two of them on the field anyway.
Right.
Like with a roster that made sense, which is a discussion we've had hundreds of times at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. So that is now
answered.
Scare quotes, problem solved.
I mean, that specific problem is solved. Now,
right.
Whether it's solved well or not, time will tell.
The repercussions of that problem being solved are still up in the air. But yeah, I don't like where do you fall down on that now? Like overall, do you think we are better or worse than we were 2 months ago?
Yeah, I think we are better than we were 2 months ago. Maybe worse than we were 6 months ago.
Explain.
Yeah, so at the start of the season, we kind of expected that Owen would come back from injury and like be ready in March-ish.
Oh, so like you're talking like Schrodinger's soccer team kind of way. Okay.
Yeah.
We're worse than we thought we were supposed to be.
Yeah. I think we're worse than we thought we were supposed to be, and I think we're better than we were 2 months ago because our guys are healthy. So like in a box, our guys are healthy, and Pajeta is an available player, and Robert Taylor was not.
Yeah.
And so those are the two biggest changes, because Danny for Owen to me is mostly a like-for-like ball progressing midfielder swap. The way they do it, obviously very different. The deficiencies in each other's games, like Danny was marginally more defensively minded and Owen is more responsible on the ball. So he's less likely to have that like fall asleep moment that Danny was good for once a game.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that plays with the rest of the team. I think one thing that Owen is very good at is the ball before the ball. So I think he will get Facu into better places than Danny was able to in the first half of the year.
Yeah, Owen is good at drawing people in. And then I think at his best, I feel like he's not perfect at this all the time, but at his best, gets rid of the ball and then can continue that run.
Yes.
Or like like you're saying, the pass before the pass where, okay, draw in players, deal the ball, and then open yourself up again. I feel like that's an area where he could be an upgrade there. I think the whole thing just hinges on like with this lineup. So we're assuming or hoping that Brandon Vasquez is going to be healthy, and that means we are a better team. Owen Wolf's going to be healthy, and that makes us a better team. This all necessitates us being able to get our good players chances consistently, which is a thing that we've struggled with. I think we've done better at it in stretches over the last year or so, but we just talked about when Brandon Vasquez first joined, it's like he's getting one shot a game and he's missing it. It's not enough. Like, we need to get him more chances. And so I think that's the big question mark for me is and we have these players, they are healthy, they are poised to make this team better. Can our system, our structure, the players around them get them the chances they need to actually make us better and not theoretically make us better?
Yeah. It'll be, here is what I'll say about my expectations for the rest of the season. I don't know if I'm going to Houston yet on Saturday because I don't know what this team looks like. And Wednesday will help me decide that. And I have never missed a Houston away game. I've missed one Dallas away game, and it's because I was getting surgery. So, like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is this a 6-hour road trip, 6-hour round trip team for me this season or not? And I think what we see on Wednesday will determine a lot of that.
Yeah, we'll do our previews later in the show, and I think in that section we'll talk about, like, okay, who's going to be on the field, how are they going to play. Let's talk about just like broad expectations now.
Yeah.
So as I said before, 14 points, second to last place in the West. We are 6 points out of 9th place, which is like the wild card game to get into the playoffs. How high do you think Austin can climb up the table in the remaining games of this season?
I don't know. A lot of the teams around us are getting better, or at least are not getting worse. And I don't know that that's true for us. I think we're better than a lot of the luck that we had in the first half of the season, whether it was luck or whether it was outcomes based on like choices or whatever. But with a backline like we have and a goal differential that kind of tells the story, I think we'll be lucky to make that 9th place spot this year. What are you thinking, Landon?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the point we just discussed of like, if we can get Brandon Vasquez and Owen Wolf even kind of involved in most games, I think making up that 6-point gap is very possible. I think any amount of spots above that is pretty difficult to say, like, feel confident predicting that we would get there, but I do think like wild card spots 8 and 9 is very doable for this roster, but there's a lot of variables that we need to see come together for that to become reality.
Yeah, for folks who don't have the table pulled up right now, Austin has a -12 goal differential on the season so far. We are
scoring goals wise, we are like, I don't know, like mid-table. Does that seem right?
Mid-ish. Yeah, there are a couple of teams who have scored 18. We have scored 19, and then poor Sporting Kansas City has scored 16 goals this year.
Yeah, so that could be better, of course, and I think should be better. We're talking about all the people returning we just discussed, but the 31 given up is a problem.
Is the real problem, yeah.
Because that is second most in the West.
Yeah, and I don't see the defense getting better without bringing in new players.
It's gonna have to be like a systematic fix as opposed to a personnel fix, because we probably aren't going to see many or any changes across the back line. And then hopefully some of these guys can be or stay healthy and be able to plug in. But like, I think this is the group that we have, and maybe some of the B team is going to be the group that we have on that back line. So we need to figure out ways to set them up to succeed with the system and with how what we're asking them to do, as opposed to telling them get good.
Yeah.
And like doing the same thing we've been doing, because that's clearly not working very well. We
All
also
right.
have Leagues Cup coming up. We don't have to talk about this too long because we're still a little ways out. Like, do you have any hopes or expectations for that? We're playing, is it Puebla, Tijuana, and Club America? So
Yeah.
some good teams, a lot of really good talent on all of these teams. So
Yeah, here's what I'm looking forward to Leagues Cup. Landon, before recording, reminded me that Gilberto Mora plays for Tijuana. That's going to be cool as heck to see him in Austin before he explodes.
oh yeah, that kid is special. And
Man, he's so
to
good.
see him play live will be fun, period.
Yeah.
But to then see him 4, 5, 10 years from now and be
Right.
like, oh, and he's like playing for Real Madrid or whoever, and be like,
Yeah.
I saw that
Hey,
kid
I
play
saw
when he
him.
was 16.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he cooked hot dog when I was 16, when he was 16. Like, this was the best, like.
That's a sad high point for Leagues Cup.
Otherwise, I mean, it's always fun. I am not as much of a Leagues Cup hater, primarily now that we are competing in Open Cup again. When it seemed like it was a binary between the two,
Right.
Leagues Cup was my enemy. Leagues Cup would always be my enemy. Now that it's not a binary and we can do both, I'm fine with it. I think the claims of Leagues Cup are a cash grab is yeah,
It's all
a cash grab, right? MLS is a cash grab. The arguably the only thing that isn't is Open Cup.
Yeah.
Everything else about this league is a cash grab. But that's our league. That's what we got.
Yeah, and the math may not work out on what I'm about to say, but I'm hoping that changing the calendar can fix some of that as well. I mean, there are too many games, period. That is true. But having the calendar shift and not having to play through every international break and all of that, maybe that'll get better, but maybe because we're not playing through international breaks, all the other games will be crammed in between them, and maybe it'll be worse. I don't know, but we'll see.
Do you think there's too many games, or do you think there's not enough players?
Both. But
okay,
expanding rosters would alleviate, it wouldn't fix it even, but it would alleviate the problems caused by having too many games.
Yeah. This is maybe where we differ. My dream scenario is Austin FC plays twice a week, and I get to watch my favorite team play twice a week. That's sweet to me.
Yeah, and if you raise salary cap by 1.5 million for everyone,
right,
they could actually compete in all of those games.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, if we have a roster that can support playing that many games without killing players and
or without starting Freddie Kleeman and whoever else on the field at the same time away in Colorado on a Wednesday.
Exactly. Yeah, if today's ceiling becomes the floor, man, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think moments like Leagues Cup, where we get so much money injected into the league, become jumping off points for having that conversation with the business people, as opposed to just the passion for the sport people.
All right, let's we're going to get into our match previews, but first let's take one more quick break and we will be right back.
Moon Tower Soccer is brought to you by Sage Wilson Realty. Are you looking to score your next home while rates are back to their lowest levels since 2022? Don't get caught offside in this market.
The right strategy can turn today's opportunity into your winning goal. If you're looking for Sage Real Estate advice in Austin, contact our friends at Sage Wilson Realty. Be sure to check them out online at sagewilson.com. All right, we are back. We're going to get into our first match previews in a very long time. So let's start off with this Seattle game. It is at home this Wednesday. I had 7:30 p.m. written into the notes. Mike just corrected it because as we're recording, they changed the kickoff time. I'm blind on this. Did they send out an announcement?
Yes, they just sent an email to ticket holders, and we got the press release email as well, letting us know that the updated time for kickoff is 8:30, pushed back 1 hour, probably because it's going to be hot.
Yeah, it's going to be in the high 90s. At the scheduled 7:30 kick, I was reading up on like what the rules were, like when they had to move it, and it is when the wet bulb globe temperature is above 92 point something, and with it being 97 degrees and like even a little bit humid, it's like it's going to be above that number.
And Landon, I know what the wet bulb globe temperature is. Like, this isn't for me, but for listeners who might not know, what is that?
I don't know, Mike. It is it's like there's a combination of measurements they do. So they take the temperature on the field, they take the direction of the sun, they take humidity. It's like all these various factors that give a better idea of like how taxing that weather will be on the human body when it is exerting itself. And they have decided that 92 point something is the level at which this is too dangerous, we can't play right now, and they will move the game. I think it's pretty obvious like that it's going to be too hot, so I'm glad that they're getting ahead of it now and not trying to change it the day before or the day of.
Yeah. So for folks who may fall into my bucket and are furiously Googling right now, the wet bulb globe temperature is a comprehensive measure of heat stress used in direct sunlight, accounting for air temperature, humidity, wind speed, sun angle, cloud cover. And then it takes those, like these 3 different measurements, natural wet bulb temperature, black globe temperature, and dry bulb temperature. Black Globe is the most of those. That sounds like a death metal band out of Denton. But like the other 2 probably could also be.
Yeah, I think they do all that because like 82 degrees in an uncovered stadium in the middle of the day with 80% humidity is different than 82 degrees at night.
Yeah.
But anyway, game got moved back. Let's look forward. And so, Mike, you have a more in-depth preview coming out on Wednesday morning. Is that the plan?
Yes. The plan right now is to record tomorrow night, or I guess tonight, if you're listening. We are recording with Lobbing Scorchers. They're a Seattle Sounders podcast. They are part of the Sounder at Heart network. They, to me, hit that vibe of we are both tactically savvy and also have a finger on the pulse of the fan community. And so we'll be publishing that on the feed through our Swoon Tower opponent spotlights. So you'll be able to check that out Wednesday morning before the game. So from their side of like who the Sounders are and where they're at this season and how they're feeling after losing 5-1 to Portland, their bitterest rival in the Cascadia Cup. Check that out. But
yeah, for sure. Swoon Tower is always great. I always listen. But if you're someone who is looking to start listening, this will be a very fun one because the Lobbing Scorchers guys, like Mike said, very smart, but also very fun. So I really like those guys. So let's look at how, like, y'all are going to talk more about Seattle's end of it.
They'll play. Yeah.
Let's talk about Austin because this is our first game back. So let's spend most of this preview postulating what we're going to see from Austin FC. So I think a big question that I think we got a hint from during today's media availability, but not a full answer, is how is this team going to play? Will this be Davy's team? And is he going to carry on a version of what we were already doing? Or is he immediately moving towards that Jim Curtin style? So Tom Bogert in recent Soccer Wise made a statement that was essentially like, we have to be careful what we're saying about Jim Curtin and Austin FC because there might be some clauses in his buyout from Philadelphia that prevents him from doing official work for another team while still being paid by them. So that's the party line. That's like the official statement. But what's really happening is what I'm hoping is really happening is that Davy Arnaud and Jim Curtin are in communication regularly or if not regularly, at least like having some big meetings occasionally to kind of like lay the groundwork for the direction they want the team to go from a tactical standpoint. Davy did hint at I think the quote was a new idea and trying to implement some new things during this break. And so the way he talked
like
about
a diamond, like a midfield diamond.
he didn't say that, but he just said a new idea, and the way he said it made me think like we changed quite a few things in this break. You could read that as to say like, okay, it was Nico's team, now it's my team, so we had to change some stuff. I'm choosing to read it as I'm implementing Jim's stuff right now, and we're like starting to do it now. That is one thing we'll see. Like maybe it's not 100% that direction, but I feel like it will be pretty obvious if that more direct style, the
he's bringing back
like the field position kind of game of like getting into the attacking third, trying to keep it there as much as you can, and getting as many shots away as you can.
He's bringing back the 80s Italian sweeper. It's coming back. Here we go. We're going to put Joseph Rosales behind the back line, and he's going to clean up everything.
Davy, it all comes around again, right? So why can't Davy be the one to revolutionize this next era of world soccer?
That's right.
So who do we think will play in this game, Mike? Because we know Dessler's not going to. We know John Bell's not going to. We know Hindsight can't go 90, so maybe he goes 60 and comes off, or maybe he doesn't start at all.
We for sure know two names, Landon. We know John Gallagher will play because Austin FC exists as a club, and therefore John Gallagher will be on the field.
Exactly.
We also know that Joseph Rosales will play because he has been our best player. He was not injured. Where he will play, I think, is the biggest question. Will he play on the wing? Will he play as the 6? Will he play as, I don't know, a defensive left-sided field player? Who's to say? He could apparently play anywhere.
Yeah.
Not left back.
So looking at the rest of the team, so we're the front 6, we're back to the same old discussion as ever. It's, like we said, a little less complicated without Danny Pereira in the picture, but also a little less potent and a little less deep without Danny Pereira in the picture.
Yeah.
So let's say there is a back 4 that exists. Whoever they are, it doesn't matter. What are you doing with the other 6 players? Who are you starting and where are you putting them?
Yeah, I think it does depend on whether Joseph Rosales is the left back or not. Because if he's not the left back, then he has to play as the 6. He was so good with Danny in that like midfield pairing. He was the first trustworthy lone 6 that we've had. And so I would hate to see him not play there if he's not at left back. And from there, like, you have to pair him with Owen in the midfield to have somebody progressing the ball. I would be so sad if Jayden Nelson doesn't start this game.
Yeah. From
a health standpoint, what a bummer. Like,
if you say like, okay, we're not playing Rosales in the midfield, but he's a guy who, like you said, he's going to be on the field. So he's somewhere else that puts Ilie or Dubrsarski in the midfield. Someone else has to give. And I think of those attacking ones, Jayden Nelson is one of the names where, depending on how you're going to play it, he might be the one that makes sense to take off. So,
right.
I think I'm kind of coming around to your argument of using Owen Wolf as Danny Pereira and just asking him to do the same thing. That then opens up those other 4 attacking players where you can have Nelson on the left, Torres on the right, floating around, Uzuni playing underneath, kind of like he was doing with Ramirez towards the end of the first half of the season, and then Vasquez up top. I don't hate that.
The benefit to that attacking 4 is that, like, they're all so flexible,
right?
That all of them could pop up in a different space, and all of them could attack from a different angle. Like, how many times have we seen Facu in his career come in from the left? How many times have we seen Jayden Nelson come in from the right? Like, they're so open to movement. And that Uzuni's best games have been when, like, you look up and all of a sudden he's anywhere on the pitch. So
yeah, I think my main concern with that specific group of players would be rest defense.
Mm-hmm.
As like, we're attacking, we're in our attacking part of the field. Owen gets a chance to run and he goes. And now we have 5 players forward. Rosales is also not a full-time midfielder. So the way he reads a game, like he gets caught out in those spaces sometimes as well.
He's just fast enough to fix it most of the time.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, Gallagher usually pushes pretty high. Biru likes to go do Biru stuff. So I think that's where you can get in trouble, is not being disciplined enough in that rest defense shape to then get caught out of the back for, we've already talked about this back line being a little bit not the best in the league when they're fully healthy, but whenever we're missing some guys, even lower than that, right? So that's going to be interesting to see. Could we see we've talked about this 100 times as well, but like 3 center backs, one of them being Biru, then playing Rosales as a left wing back. I think that puts Nelson in kind of an awkward space. Like, he can play in the channel, like he can play tucked in a little bit. I think he's better suited out wide where he can have space to run and get up to full speed in moments. He's clean enough with the ball that he can play in those inside channels fine enough, but I don't think it's maximizing what he can do. So, and then also, this is a problem that like a lot of people who are like, oh, the defense is good, add another center back. But whenever center back is one of your weakest positions, okay, you're just putting another weak player on the field at that point.
Yeah, I think to get our 11 best players on the field, we have to be looking at something like a 4-4-2.
Yeah, I think so too.
It doesn't have to be like traditional lump it long to the big man 4-4-2, but like it could be.
Yeah.
Because if Vasquez is playing hold up ball and he's feeding either Owen or Uzuni or Faku on like that laid off pass, that doesn't look bad for this lineup.
Yeah, and like you can play more direct without it necessarily being lump it up to the single big man up there alone and then run onto him. Like, you can play in between lines and like play forward. And I feel like that was when Austin was at their best. That was kind of what they were doing, is win the ball, play fast, play vertical, but then it's not just hopeful balls and have one guy run onto it. Then you can combine, you can play off of each other. And this group of players would be really good at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And especially if Uzuni can kind of continue the form in that role, playing underneath another striker, like it could look pretty good if we have all of these guys on the field. Which, who knows how often that will actually happen. If past this precedent, it will be almost never.
I will say it's nice for us to be catching Seattle at this time, who have lost their last 3 matches by a combined 8-1. Now, a lot of that is carried by that 5-1 loss, but Landon, don't do the thing that you did before the show where you talk about our record over our last 3.
Yeah, it was 10-1.
Yeah, I said don't.
The goal differential.
I said don't. You didn't listen. Let's take that over again.
Let's talk a little bit about Seattle. So we talked about their record. Over the first half of the season, their defense has been very good. Before that Portland game, they gave up 11 goals in 13 games. It's 16 now, which is still one of the best in the league, even after one terrible game. Their offense has struggled. They've only scored 16 goals. XG suggests that they've had a little bit of bad luck in that number. Their XG count is much higher than that, but they've only gotten into the net 16 times. They have a lot of missing players, which maybe adds into that thumping that Portland gave them, but they're missing, I think it's like 6 or 7, but 4 guys who would be starters. So Alex Roldan, Christian Roldan, Yemar Andrade Gomez, and Pedro de la Vega. When those guys are healthy, they are nailed on starters, and they're unavailable and and will likely be unavailable for this Wednesday game. So missing guys, but Seattle has been the best for years at that plug and play, reload. Okay, you're down. Next guy step in. He's going to do just as well. So I'm not reading anything into them losing 5-1 against Portland. I think if anything, they're going to come here angry, and it's a team that they know they can beat, and they know they can beat in our house. And so
no matter who they put on the pitch.
Yeah, so they may be coming into this even more confident and more hungry for it, which is not really what we want.
No. Listeners who have wondered about, maybe you're newer to Austin FC fandom and you've heard a lot of people talk about Austin's biggest weakness being teenagers. Seattle Sounders are the reason for that rumor and that like narrative to have developed. They came to our house and just every time they next man up mentality with the Sounders has been disastrous for us. So.
All right, that is the first game of the week. Second game of the week is Copa Tejas game. Is this the first Copa Tejas game of the season?
No, this is actually our second game against Houston. So we have already played them at home and beat them 2-0 earlier in the year. But they are a different team than they were in April. And so I think they're probably expecting to do a little bit better in this return leg.
Yeah, Houston's been an interesting one this season. So they're 7th place in the West on 22 points. The guy we've seen, and we talked about a lot last time we played them, is Guilherme. He's been really good this year.
Yeah.
The team overall has been a little bit disjointed, but he's been able to kind of drag them over the line a few times on his own, pretty much. Ezequiel Ponce and Mateus Bogusz. Ponce's been there for a few years. He's been disappointing the whole time. Bogusz is a guy who I expected to come in and make a big difference, and he's not really produced yet. And then they recently brought in Duncan McGuire from Orlando, hoping to strengthen that striker position. So this is a guy who I think a lot of our listeners will know this, but some probably don't, is that I don't remember what team it was. He got sold
Birmingham.
to the champion. Was it Birmingham?
Yeah.
Got sold to the English Championship, which is their second division. He was on the plane, like going to do the physical. It was all settled, and Birmingham City didn't get the paperwork done in time. So like they missed the deadline by like seconds. And so he got there, flew over there, was landing, thinking that he was going to be a Birmingham City player, finds out when he lands that is not the case, and has to come back and play for Orlando.
Sorry, I was wrong. It's Blackburn.
Whatever. Insert Blackburn wherever I said Birmingham before.
Yeah.
But the point is, Duncan McGuire was going to go play in the English Championship with hopes of like doing bigger things in Europe. Instead, came back to Orlando.
Can you imagine
kind of a mixed season? Yeah.
Can you imagine landing in England and you're like, all right, time to start my life, and then you get a text like as you're pulling up to the gate that's like, Doug, just kidding, come home.
Brutal.
And like home is Orlando. Like, okay.
So that was a couple of seasons ago, I think. And so
yeah,
he's
that
been
was
back in Orlando.
2024.
I think he had some injuries. He's had some inconsistencies and hadn't really looked like the player that got him that almost move to the championship. But he is still fairly young. He's got a lot of quality. He's got a lot of talent. And he's going to be dangerous no matter what, just because of the quality that he has. He's not going to be fully integrated into this team. So who knows what role he plays in this game or what it looks like. But the kid's dangerous.
And he's much better than Ezequiel Ponce. So there's that. He also does backflips when he scores, which is a real heartbreaker. So we won't see that, obviously, on the 25th. But maybe he'll do it against Dallas.
So this one is away in Houston. Houston have done quite well at home. They've won 5 of their 7 home games, which is the chunk of like the bigger chunk of their point total. So that has something against Austin, but Austin's record against Houston all time is quite good. So we have that on our side. Who knows? Like I'm kind of in your boat, Mike. Like Wednesday, I think is going to set a tone. Like, who is this team? Can we have hope in them for the remainder of the season? And this is 100% unfair for us to do based on a single game, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think ultimately that is like fandom, right? Is the number of times we see a crash out after a loss and then like anointing ourselves the best team in the world after a win. That's fandom. And so I know it's silly to put so much stock into one game, but with the way the first half of the season ended, I think a lot of fans are justified to want to see a real performance on Wednesday.
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered it all, Mike. Actually, we haven't.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We have
I
a watch
heard-
party to promote.
Yeah, I heard there's a watch party for the folks who aren't going to Houston.
That's right. This is going to be 7:30 p.m. kickoff. This is at
Hop Squad.
Hop Squad. So they're going to be, it's family friendly, dog friendly, as Hop Squad, I think, is most of the time or all the time for the family friendly part.
And
they're
the
gonna
dog
have-
friendly part.
Yeah, dog friendly all the time. I wasn't sure. You know, some places cut off kids after a certain hour or whatever, but Hop Squad in general is a very family friendly place and dog friendly place. They're going to have food by the Yucatan Tacos and then merch
So
sales
good.
by LV. And yeah, if you're not going to Houston and want to watch with some fellow Austin FC fans, this will be a great place for it. All right, Mike, I think we did it. Anything else on your mind before we wrap up?
Man, I have nothing. Just like the sporting director search in Austin FC, zero additional information.
All right. Well, we want to remind you to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Come find us on Instagram. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week to recap these two games and then preview the Colorado away game. Until then, I'm Landon Cottom.
And I'm Mike Cragnola.
We'll catch you next time.
When no one is around.
Thank for nothing, see you never.
La gente.
Oh my God.
Zulip Chupa Boom Sauce.
Yeah.